Hey everybody, Fred Love here in Ames, Iowa, and I'm back with another guitar lesson. Just want to illustrate some of what you can expect if you come to take guitar lessons with me in Fred Love's Punk Rock Guitar Academy. This is going to be an intermediate level lesson where I'm going to take a song, in this case Ball and Chain by Social Distortion, and illustrate some important concepts that you might need to know if you are going to continue on and become a guitarist. So when I think of an intermediate level guitar player, I think of someone who can play both rhythm and is starting to play some leads, play different parts, riffs, chords, things of that nature, and can play like full songs. I think once you're at a point where you can play full songs, you can probably consider yourself an intermediate level guitarist. So I'm going to show you how to play, like I said, Ball and Chain by Social Distortion, and I'll show you the rhythm part, which is pretty simple. It's just 3 open chords, and then I'll show you, I'll illustrate some of the scales involved in the introduction, the lead part for the intro of the song. So I just got back from seeing the Smashing Pumpkins last night, so I definitely feel like rejuvenated, and I want to play some heavy music and get to work on the guitar, because man, last night in Des Moines, watching the Pumpkins play was pretty glorious. They were so loud. They went hard, man, and those songs are great. So I'm in the mood to play some guitar. I hope you are too. So let's start with the rhythm part for Ball and Chain by Social Distortion. What I like about this song, one of the things I like about this song, is that it's just the same 3 chords in the same order the whole way through. It's in the key of D, and so I'm gonna assume that as an intermediate guitarist, you know these chords pretty well already. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time showing you how to make those shapes. But here is your D major, right? And then the next chord is an A major. And I'm using these 3 fingers to do, you know, the 2nd fret on the D, G, and B strings. You could just lay your pointer finger flat and get most of it if you want to. It's really up to you. I know some people make their A's different ways. Maybe if you're a hillbilly, you come up here and do this, but I think that's only a hillbilly thing. And then, so you got your D, your A, and then G. And that's also a very important open chord that if you're an intermediate guitarist, you probably know already. And then back to D. So the pattern for the verse is just 1 measure of D, 1 measure of A, a measure of G, and then D. And as for the strumming pattern, I think you can get pretty close if you do like a down, 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 up, down, up. Take away, take away, take away this ball and chain. I'm lonely and I'm tired, and I can't take any more pain. So take away, never to return again. Take away, take away, take away, take away this ball and chain. So I don't sing it quite like Mike Ness, but that's the pattern. So in the verse, it just repeats those chords, and then when it goes to that chorus at the end, there's that break where it holds on to the G, where Mike Ness kind of coughs out a few extra notes, and he holds on to that, and the band kind of stops, and then take away this ball and chain. So if you can do that, you can strum along with the song. If you listen to the recording, I think it's actually a half step down, so you might need to tune down a half step if you want to play right along with it. So the thing about Mike Ness, the guitarist and singer and songwriter for Social D, is that he does not like a lot of frills, you know? So his lead parts are pretty rockin', and we can learn the intro, I think, pretty easily to that song. So the song is in the key of D. And so let's look at the D major scale. Right, so there's your D major scale. That is a D, an E, an F sharp, a G, an A, a B, a C sharp, and a D. So we finish on the D. Right? Okay, so that is your full D major scale. We're gonna work on the pentatonic scale, the D major pentatonic scale. So what we're going to do, as the prefix penta implies, we're only gonna use 5 notes of that scale. So the major scale usually has 7 different notes, and then it's got the octave, the root at the end again. So we're going to take 2 of those notes out. In this case, we're going to get rid of, if you assign a number to each note in the major scale, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then back to the root. We're going to take out 2 of those notes. We're going to take out the 4th note, and we're going to take out the 7th. Those are nice notes. You got your G and your C sharp. Those are really nice. You know, they give great texture to the chord, great flavor. But for a rock song like this, we want all killer and no filler. And I think that's what I like about Mike Ness. I think he gets pretty suspicious of a song as soon as you start to complicate it. And I do too. I think rock songs really ought not to be that complicated. And so let's just get rid of those guys. Let's get rid of the 7th and the 4th. And let's just work on these notes. That's your D major pentatonic. All killer, no filler, baby. So let's look at the notes I'm playing. I'm getting the D on the 10th fret of my fat E string. And then I'm getting the 7th fret of the A string. Then the 9th fret of the A string, so. Then we're gonna jump up to the 7th fret of the D string, then the 9th fret of the D string, and then the 7th fret of the G string. That gets us back to a D note. I'm not sure if you can see that, so. And I grab that root, that 10th fret of the D string with my pinky. Right? And if we were to do it up an octave, we would start on the root, there on the 7th fret of the G string, then go up a full step to the 9th fret of the G string, then we grab the 7th fret of the B string, then the 10th fret of the B string with my pinky, then the 7th fret of the E string, the high E string, and then with my pinky, I'm gonna grab the 10th fret of the high E string for my octave. That's a D note. So those notes are D, E, F sharp, A, B, and D. That's our D major pentatonic. That's pretty cool. So the intro is all in D major pentatonic for this song. And so I'll play it real quick and then I'll walk you through it. And that's about as far as there's more to it. But let's just start there. Let's start with just a digestible little chunk of that intro, and I'll show you what I'm doing. So we've got our major pentatonic scale in the key of D, and we're going to start on the 7th fret. I'm using my pointer finger on the 7th fret of the D string, and he does a little walk down. So the 7th fret of the D string, then he jumps down to the 9th fret of the A string, down a full step to the 7th fret of the A string, and then rather than grabbing the root with my pinky on the fat E string, I'm just gonna go down a full step on the A string to the 5th fret. So that's also a D. Here's a D, here's a D. Root, 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 root. Right? Okay, so And then he kind of hangs out on that root for a couple picks. Then he gets with his ring finger, grabs the 7th fret of the A string. So it's 5, 7, 5. And then he does something really cool. He's gonna grab, this is a little tidbit you're gonna have to learn if you're gonna start playing lead guitar. It's a slide. He grabs that 7th fret of the A string with his ring finger, and then he slides it up to the 9th, like that. So can you do a slide? Oops. That's what happens when you look at your camera and not at your guitar. So can you do that that's a nice little phrase to learn. You can give a little vibrato if you know how to do that. So he slides up a whole step to the 9th fret of the D, or I'm sorry, the A, and then he walks it back. That's it, sliding back down. So he slides up, then he slides back down. Then he grabs the major 6th, the 6th. That's a B note that he's grabbing with his ring finger on the fat string. And then he does a hammer-on. The thing about hammer-ons, that's another little skill that you're gonna have to learn if you're gonna be a lead guitarist. You gotta kind of be like a karate master, I think. You know, when you think of someone in a karate dojo and he karate chops a board and breaks it, the sensei is focusing all of their energy and force and precision into that one spot on the board. Well, you're kind of doing the same thing with the guitar. So you're holding down with your pointer finger. That never really leaves, that never really moves. But then you use your ring finger to kind of karate chop down on the 7th fret of the B or the A string. So that's a hammer-on. A pull-off is just the opposite. You start with your ring finger and pull off down to the lower note. That's a hammer-on. So you start on the 5th fret of the A string, that's your D note, hammer on to the 7th fret, and then grab that root again. That's a cool little lick, grabbing that 6th. So let's work through that whole intro again. Slide back, hammer. All notes in the D major pentatonic scale. I hope that's as clear as mud. It's a really cool punk rock tune. I like to teach stuff in the punk rock vein, but we don't have to just study punk rock here at Fred Love's Punk Rock Guitar Academy, even though it's in the name. We can study all different kinds of music, but I really like to take these simple kind of rock songs and break them down, tear them apart, analyze them, and then illustrate important concepts with the guitar. So in this case, we're strumming some chords and we are playing some leads, and we're using the major pentatonic scale, which is super important for all kinds of music, from rock and roll to country to blues. You're gonna be working a lot with the pentatonic scales if you want to go on and play lead guitar. So thanks for watching. Please do get in touch if you're in Central Iowa and you'd like an in-person guitar lesson. I can also do a remote lesson if that's something that you are interested in, if you're in another part of the country or you can't make it here to my practice room. So keep playing guitar, keep rocking. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.